And that's what we did. I'll play a couple of videos just to keep us entertained for the moment.
May you find
now I know you're smiling.
While you eat your turkey, may you find joy now with your family. Boo boo, boo 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 boo, boo 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 boo.
Oh my God. Now we know why you're smiling.
So things break and we reassemble the pieces that are fractalized patiently with lots of love and gratitude. I am grateful to restore what has been broken with the tools and the techniques. So grateful. May you be restored with lots of love and gratitude.
That's incredible.
Ah,
That's incredible.
Wow, that was great.
You never cease to amaze, brother. Let me do this here. Share this.
Yeah, sharing.
Oh my goodness.
So what's going West Coast? What's going on?
Hot out here, man.
The sky is really, really weird today. We just got a warning that the heat is going to be like unhealthily safe hot here. So it's interesting how everything
like how hot are we talking about?
Well, we get into, the low hundreds, but if they sent out a warning, I mean, what I saw was more like Las Vegas hot.
Yeah.
So that's like 116, 100.
Well, they had that crazy weather, that heat up in the northwestern U.S. and western Canada. Wasn't like Oregon was like 122 or something?
Yes, yeah.
It's unheard of.
Unheard of, and we're so dry. We have not had any rain, and so we were getting notifications that the fires are already starting, and yeah.
Fire and water.
That's right. Yep.
Masculine, feminine.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We need some more water, man.
That's what we keep saying. One of our songs talks about the white fire. May the fire and the water be as one. We need to unite the fire and the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to be with you, brother. Good to be with everybody that's here with us now live and
hi, fam.
Live later.
So how was that festival? I got invited to that festival. That was the same weekend as Soulogy Fest. You guys, when I reached out to you, you guys had just committed to going to it, and then a couple of people invited me, and then I think somebody came from it. There was this ensemble, I think, that came from it. I learned through a friend of mine, and they texted me, but 200 text messages and all that stuff at the time. I never got to it till it was too late. But how was it?
It was great. We are not typically festival people. That's not been our experience, and we had no idea what to expect. But the way that it came was, it was a direct answer to prayer, kind of just asking Spirit, like, where was our next season of ministry after this kind of quiet time, and being kind of disembodied from our last community. And so we went, and it was an opportunity for fear and temptation at every level. And it potentially could have been a really, really weird situation.
Yeah, it's like a super empath spirit walk. At least you had each other, right?
Yeah.
We did. We went through a gateway big time. We really did.
Yeah, we did a great workshop, which was incredible. We did something on evolutionary love, and it was well received. But it was like the fear thing that she's mentioning. Not that it's fearful to be around a bunch of people, but it was.
Yeah, totally.
Again, as Heather mentioned, festivals are not. We're not Burning Man type of people. We hot and desert doesn't really appeal to us a lot. And thump
all night
long. Till 5 in the morning. We're.
Is that the type of festival it was? So it was a music festival?
It's the One Love Festival. It's incredible. I mean, it was
a lot of burners, because
Burning Man didn't happen that year, so
Yeah,
it was a culmination of Burning Man and people that just are ready to come together again. And I mean, it was just incredibly auspicious that it was the same weekend. We knew energetically we were to be in Arizona, all of us, you know, for whatever's to be, and just to arc with you guys in Sedona. We were definitely feeling you all.
Oh
and,
yeah.
To be around.
Yeah, ours didn't have the bass beat going all the time. It had a lot of mixed, you know, different frequencies, different points of context, vibrations. It was very fluid. At 40 hours, it just went from one thing to another, kind of spontaneous. That was a big part of it. Yeah, but it was a big collective unity consciousness. That's all I can say. To the point where 6 Black Hawk helicopters came from around the mountain.
I heard
flew right over the tent.
Doing something, man. Getting attention.
Did it feel collective at the one? Did it?
It was so incredible,
it was
Todd.
so beautiful,
it was really like, it was 2,000 people, at a place called Kin Village in Arizona.
2,000 people.
2,000. And people just really, there was no problems. It was all kinds of different energies, but for the most part, it was it felt clean. I mean, here's the deal, brother. We had 4 or 5
naked women
sitting in our workshop. I mean, there's nudity everywhere you're turning around. You're like, oh, okay, here we go.
Is that the temptation you were talking about?
That's the fear part. That's
like
the fear.
Temptation and fear, like it, like it's like commingled, and it was so weird because it was as soon as we walked in, and we were really on the way there, we were having some deep dive conversations, moving through some stuff, and
we almost turned that damn car around and said, "We're not doing this, man."
Like, oh, if this is a foreshadowing of what is to come, I don't know. Yeah. But we got there.
That's how I felt 10 minutes ago, but I'm glad I came.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Oh, but it was amazing. It was like the word of the weekend was surrender. Just into the free fall. Just keep turning it over, surrender. And there was such an incredible grace. I feel like in terms of like sharing what we do, and I think it was the most spontaneous we've ever been in a workshop, but it was probably the deepest and the most authentic and raw. And it felt like pure connection with everybody there.
Wow.
So
it was incredible. I mean, my favorite moment of that was just, I think, dancing to Parangi. If you don't know, if your listeners don't know who Parangi is, like, he just brings a shamanic musical experience, and just, barefoot on the earth, and just like dancing in our liberation and our freedom. And just, it was like, it's what our hearts were calling for. And it just feels like that weekend, whatever it was a catalytic moment for the soul tribe to really.
It had to be. It had to be. I think it took. I think it's taken people a month to get over it.
Yeah, right.
Wherever you were.
Yeah.
I don't say over it. Let's just say you start to get a handle on it.
Yeah. It was dragon energy, brother. Everywhere we were, it was like in the dragon fire. Like that's where we dwell and sit and go, breathe on me, blow me, purify
me.
The torch of the dragon was very present.
Yeah. It was really good.
It's that Kali Anubis energy.
That's right.
Anubis was very present.
Totally. There was like these big dragon cars.
He's still here. He just
love that guy.
No, man, I'm telling you, it's big time. But to me, that's what that represents. It's like burning off.
Yeah.
Somebody said the other day, the opposite of death. What did it say? The opposite of death is not life. No, is life. I'm saying it wrong, but he was saying that instead it's birth is to life. I mean, I don't know where I was going with that. To be honest with you,
that place to willingly, that's the second death. It's like we have to be willing to die to truly live, to really live the life that our soul is calling for us. Dense environment to burn off the dross and purify truly. And that's the journey, man. That's what we
we just got off the phone with a brother from some old political affiliations and old spiritual affiliations back like 10 years ago. A man that knew and prayed with my dad. He's just kind of a total warrior at heart. And he's been kind of reaching out because he, like many others that have not been doing quite this deep of a dive on the path for very long. It's incredible to see how this energy is translating to many that are ready to die. You can feel it. And that there's a fight, there's a trying to like control it. And you can just see, that it's like, oh, it's gonna,
the boom's coming. He'll be at Burning Man next year.
Right. Yeah. He'll be recovering first.
Yeah. But we're sorry we missed you, man. We were definitely torn. We wanted to be with you physically, but we're there in heart, spirit, and how, I mean, I've caught in and tuned in a little bit. It seems like it was the inaugural Soulogy Festival, correct?
Yeah.
So wild that and just what, we're tuned in just loosely what's going on with you and Morgan and how, you're so tied together in this energetic capacity and producing it from different places and really arcing together. It's really fascinating to witness, brother.
Speechless.
I am told I can't do much but get on this show. I can't do a whole lot. I think a lot of people can relate to that. And I keep hearing, get up and do these things and just be as transparent as possible. It's a new world. I mean, it's like there's obviously been a graduation to this, a graduated, ascending incline of a journey. And so much of what's gotten us here is our foundation. And yet even everything is being purified, everything. So it's a powerful proposition that the two of us chose together. And I haven't a clue, but it's you stay open and, you just keep going with it. What got us here is what's going to keep us going.
Totally. I love that. I think there's so many times in our journey that, we look back to, because it does. Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I can't take anymore. That feeling of, because there's so much mystery, because it's taking us so beyond any of our borders, and it's like total free fall. And just knowing that original pulse that called us together is so beyond just a relationship. We refer back to that so often when it feels like our feet are about to burn and singe, and just going, we know that we're conduits for something really liberating for ourselves and for whoever comes after.
Yeah, I mean, it's just seems to me that the newer the situation, the newness, the unknown, the things we haven't done before, is where this seems to all be leading. And I'm just learning every day, and I wake up feeling dumb every morning, not in a bad way, but just not dumbed down, but just like, I don't know anything. What's going to happen today? I mean, it's all unfolding at such a multifaceted level. Like, for instance, one of the many things that have presented themselves, these blessings, these epiphanies, has been, as we've been apart, at first I wasn't sure, but there's this telepathy. And in that telepathy, there's a higher level of communication that's coming in. And the human level is kind of going away, right? Now, people say they're an empath. I think the feminine's more empathic than the masculine, or at least that up to this point. Let's just say that. And I think with this telepathy, what I'm beginning to understand is she does have this empathy for my mental and emotional, right? But what I'm putting out, she's not getting. I don't mean to say that in the wrong way. I just mean, for the first time, I realized what world she's been living in and I'm tuning into it, and it's interesting. It's interesting because it's also helping me to put away, the bare bones of the false masculine or programming, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. I was just talking to my son about this. We were just saying the clairs and the tellies are coming online. The clairs and the tellies, the clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, the telekinesis, telepathy, and as we clear and clean our fields, that's our inherent gifts, and they're natural. We just have been, for whatever reason, not able to access it collectively. But it definitely is in the feminine.
It is, we were just having a conversation earlier too, that wild, chaotic feminine that's been like, oh, wait, where are we headed? Where are we going? It's interesting to see that energy being like really brought to the surface in all of us, that we're all surrendering to that energy. And one of the things that we have been really experiencing is that more there have been sisters that have come along that have been in one way or another really affected by trafficking, or these things that have repressed that energy or exploited that energy. There is, in that wildness, it's kind of coming up to be put back together. It's like the pieces, the wires reconnected, but it's doing it in a kind of a wild way. It's almost like that's the only energy that could bust through and expose what needs to be exposed in all of us. Because when things are safe, they don't come out of the box. It's almost like we have to be blindsided by it,
That resonates a lot. I can remember thinking many times, it's been a while, like maybe 2 months, which is a long time in the ascension. But I can remember as the distorted masculine was dying, that part of me that was a competitor and was an alpha male and made things happen and succeeded and whatever, all that stuff. As it was dying, I knew that there was a power within those shadowed expressions in my life that was going to stay with me, and trying to find it. And I still haven't, fully got there. But what I'm saying is I can relate to like what you're saying. I can resonate with it. I don't know exactly what you're saying because I'm not you, but I saw this. I share a lot of posts in the Soldier group every day, and I get to come across some really great stuff. And I can't remember who wrote this or exactly how they said it, but basically I think it was a woman, and she was saying what was happening. She was saying that there is a wild part of the woman that has been suppressed, that has been really, under the thumb to the nth degree, and it's coming out. And she went on to explain that it was not wild as in what we might think, from the, our cultural and social views and all that, but it was primordial. It was primordial, and it was coming out. And I was like, whoa. And that was a couple days ago when I saw that.
Wow.
Well said.
That's very congruent. Even just, being in the body, and sometimes because some of those emotions that come up, and learning to balance our mind and our emotions as the feminine, not just going just on our emotions, because sometimes that can be so out of control that you kind of get spiraled down into the, the illogical nature that it can be sometimes. But I also can feel that it's like allowing those deeper parts that don't necessarily make sense, so the feelings that don't make sense, to come up and be present and not shunned because the logic is saying, no, that wouldn't make sense. Nobody will believe that. Nobody will follow that. But we've been trained to push that down, and just letting that come up is really powerful. And I know it's not just women, but it's that nature in all of us going, it's okay. Wildness needs to happen here.
Well, there's something going on because you got a leopard skin dress on.
Actually, it's flowers, but it does look like
I'm just messing. I'm just trying to keep the flow.
We got our tiger watching.
We've got our
Oh, there you
tiger.
go. Yeah.
It's and that's for us men, it's like to allow that primal wild mystery to be,
and
inside us, you know, like there's a primal energy that I can tune into myself that just wants to just scream at the top of my lungs, you know, in guardianship over the sacred, over that which is, you know, because she exists inside. And I feel that Kalima, I feel that rage of mother's love that wants to singe and burn and guard myself and call me to be, you know, a pure vessel, guardian. You know, we've been on this really, you know, Great Spirit gave us the message of divine elimination and divine, you know, renunciation, elimination, you know, eradication of toxicity in the body. So we went through a 10-day master cleanse not too long ago that just we've done every once in a while. And I encourage everybody to do a cleanse, man, because we've got so much. I've really been convicted on the food I eat and have eaten. That's one of my last kind of weaker legs of my path is my food. I like sugar. I like bread. I like cheese. I like burritos. I love Mexican food. And,
man, you're making me hungry. I'm juicing.
I haven't eaten anything really much, but you know, clearing out the candida, clearing out the, you know, just those toxins in our gut and how the gut health is connected to the brain health, connected to the spiritual health of our being, being that space. And I believe that's where we're at collectively. Like, you know, there's this space where it's all God, it's all good. And then there's parasites. And yes, that's part of the circle of all that is, but we don't want mold in our home. It can actually kill us. You know, we don't want mold in our gut because it can actually destroy our healthy system. And so how do we eliminate, eradicate, renunciate those things and the toxic energies, the toxic, you know, what are we consuming food-wise? What are we consuming in our social media, in our computer, in our television? And what are we taking in? And how are we conscious of how deeply it's affecting us? And I've been, you know, super alert to that lately, you know.
I love that. You know, just kind of on that trail, it feels like what maybe one of the things that's shifting is that we're able, I think this fast really helped us both go, it took us deeper, I think, than either one of us were expecting. And because of the energies of the time, we did it. It was like Spirit said, you start tomorrow. It was no ifs, ands, or buts. And it was like during our anniversary, my birthday, solstice, a gathering that we were having with food.
Father's
like
Day.
It was like, no, you have to do it now. And it's because of how deep the commitment will be, because it's not convenient. And as we did, I feel like we were able to like really see the parts of us that were holding on to pockets of just blindness because of having to process, you know, metaphoric food all the time. Too much information, too much food, too much, you know, outside influence. And it felt like the ability to see these things that are ready to be just shifted without shame and blame. It was just like, oh, okay, this just doesn't serve me anymore. And it was much easier to see it in ourselves and each other. It just felt like a whole stream of grace.
Yeah. I think there's something in the air. I think, you know, just based on, you know, since that weekend of those two festivals.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I mean, it's like these shows have just been totally different. They've been like this. We've been on many times, but I mean, feel the air. You can feel it. It's not Todd. It's not Soulogy. It's bigger than that. I mean, it's in the air. And I think a big part of that is, you know, clearing the mind, opening the heart. And I think we're moving there without shame and guilt is, you know, this biological Merkaba is my temple, right?
Yeah. I have to share with you, last night in dream time, I was in Australia. I was walking the red roads of Australia for some reason, and I don't know completely why, but just wanted to present your beloved here. I think arcing the way we do.
Yeah.
In the land. That's actually, this is Oz, by the way. His name is Oz.
Oh, that's Oz?
That's Oz. He's a guardian. But I don't know what, that just wanted to be presence dropped in this space with us. But
yes, absolutely. Thank you.
you know, it is, you know, as we go, as we always say, so goes the collective, right? So here we are, we're cleaning and clearing, and there's just, you know, we have to look at our proverbial gut in this or this planet and see where we're allowing toxicity in our life, and that we're calling it forth to be seen and loved. You know, not, you know, there's a fine line of being aware of what's going on in the world and shadow projection and all that stuff that we can do easily when we see things inside and outside that we don't like in ourselves and in others.
Recoiling, yeah.
But
recoiling. What have you noticed just in the conversations that you've had since then? Do you notice any themes or any, you know, like, or is that too broad of a question?
Man, I don't know. I think we just talked about it. We had a little spontaneous open mic a couple hours ago. And it was kind of like there's this incredible pinpoint clarity that's like getting so sharp. You know what I mean? It's just so clear. And at the same time, there's this multifaceted, you know, the body, mental, emotional, the light body, whatever, everything coming at the same time. And some of it's very intense. And we're getting through it. I mean, it's just, it's rapid. The knowing's rapid, but the human part of it's rapid. And somebody on that show said, she was the second one to speak, Anne, and she said, I used to be in the, you know, contact all the time, every day. You know, this is going on for years. She even did some light language. She'd never done it in front of anybody before. It just came out of her, but it was pretty impressive. But she was saying how every day it's just the human. Yes. Like it's just more the human, and the purifying and all that. I think that she kind of summed it up.
It's perfect. We just pulled the trigger yesterday on something that we're really, really excited about. Two beloveds of our heart that we love and adore is Bernhard Gunther and Laura Matsu. They have a platform called Veil of Reality. Piercing the Veil of Reality in Time of Transition. You can find them on Telegram, but
they would be great guests.
They'd be incredible guests.
Really,
definitely do an intro. But we're going to take a 10-week journey with them called they've got a program called Embodied Soul Awakening. And so it's like that place we're diving deeper into the body's temple. Like here we are, we're talking about cleaning the body, because sometimes we can kind of bypass the body. We can go into the Ascended Master realm. We go into esoteric science, and trust me, everybody, we go there. We've been there. We commune with the masters and the angels and the elementals and the nature spirits. We've been part of that deep dive. And now it's like we're on this journey of going, how can we get deeper into the descension into the body of bringing heaven to earth inside our body temples? You know, and I saw a comment about, you know, the solar plexus, the gut being this masculine energy. This really, we're cleaning and clearing out the toxicity in the masculine energy inside all of us. And this journey that we're about to go is in understanding the hyperdimensional occult forces and understanding how the hyperdimensional occult forces, as Sri Aurobindo and the mother talk about, you know, that it's actually living in our gut. A lot of those occult forces get right in those places where we have these places inside our own body temples.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I think it's great to hear that everything's been about the body, because that's definitely what we're experiencing. And this program is a lot of somatic work. It's a lot of, you know, just like literally going into not just shadow work, because I think a lot of people do shadow work, but they do it at a mental level, but really looking that our issues are in our tissues, and how do we get down into those spaces that, you know, the places where you feel triggered and you can't help it. It's like it's that response that is just, it's imprinted so deep in the body.
What'd you say?
The issues are in the tissues.
You know, when she said that, I was thinking of that movie. There's a movie with Rick Moranis.
Ghostbusters.
Inner Space.
Yeah.
And they produce this spacecraft and goes into the body, and that's what I was actually thinking. I was actually thinking about that when you said that.
That's perfect.
That's a whole universe, right? It's a whole universe inside there that deserves to be loved, deserves to be looked at, deserves to be guarded and cared for in their temple space. This is our temple.
Yeah.
And
I had some body work done a couple weeks ago, and it was very unexpected. It was probably the most diverse body work experience. It was a blend of like acro yoga and deep rolfing and like stretching, and I literally cried through a lot of it because, you know, it's like your body it's holding so much information that we suppress. And I was having, you know, visuals and pictures, but mostly I just kept getting the message, like, you don't have to try so hard anymore to figure out what's down there and what's buried anymore. It's just allowing it. And I think getting into our bodies helps us, because our body will always speak to us and tell us what we need to know. It just may not come in the mental kind of messages that we're expecting. And
you just triggered a song. Body language. Like Queen, you know, body language. We never planned what we're going to talk about, but here we are. We're talking about.
Well, when you said body language with that fine melody and lifted one of your hips, I didn't know what was coming next.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. The bodies. No, that's been talked about. You know, I just have to gauge it by the show, but I'd say the whole year. Mm-hmm. It's just more and more people are talking about it. There's just a lot going on. It's not the same for everybody, but there's a lot of similarities. Sleep patterns are just on their own kind of thing now. The eating, a lot of eating habits, it's themselves dropping. Yeah, I know probably for a couple of weeks, going back about a week, once I kind of got through that first part of June after the post that weekend of those two festivals, I was experiencing or experimenting, I guess both experiencing the same type of thing with these physical things, such as eating or ingesting something or smoking something, whatever the case was, drinking something, and had kind of gone through that, you know, and then started doing it energetically with all kinds of things. And it was very interesting. I'm talking about things that I want to look again to see if I've let go, or what would happen if I just stay with this energy.
Right.
This energy that I spent time with, this energy that I woke up to, this energy that I was ashamed about and guilty about and feared and all that stuff, and just sat with it. And it was very trippy. I went through about a 2-3 day period. It was very, very trippy, and some old, dark, beautiful spirits came and just, you know, we just broke bread, and I just stayed in this energy until it dissipated.
Wow.
It was pretty amazing, but it was along the same lines of what people are talking about energetically with the food, with the dropping habits and so on. And I like what you said too about, you said something to the effect, without shame, without guilt, without blame. It's just kind of happening. One of many, many things happening kind of naturally.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah. So true. You know, it feels like maybe that's part of what, because our bodies don't lie. You know, our bodies tell us the truth, and, you know, the way that they manifest different, you know, kinds of issues, how it informs us, like what needs to change and what's connected to that problem or that challenge I keep having. And I love what you just said, to sit with it and see what would happen if I stayed with this energy and I kept entertaining this energy, or what would I be like without it? I'm going to take that and just really meditate with that, because that's a great way to look at it and ask the question, like, what is this serve, or what does it cost me to keep this here?
Yeah. And, you know, things pop in your head, and I'm going to use an example because I know part of Jason's story in regard to pornography. And I'm going to say I've been there, as I would say most everybody has. Men especially. I'm not going to say women. But that was one of the energies I sat in. So it was like I was waking up to a new world. Morgan left 2-3 weeks before I left. So there really wasn't any kind of adjustment there. I go to the Soulogy Fest, I come back, I'm on my ass for 3 weeks, you know, staring in stillness and silence most of the time. And so I started this whole thing. I started to notice, what are you reaching for? So it went from, okay, it was a drink. Now that's gone. Now I'm getting up to go eat something. And then it was something else. And then it was something else. And then I started dealing with the energy of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking about all the things that were anchored through the repetitiveness of my own actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I brought pornography into the field. And I went into it and just said, hey, I did this with many different energies. And the thing was, I'd never felt that type of connection with that energy. I'd never seen that energy the way I was feeling it and seeing it. It was just the universal hum, you know. At some point, all the distortions is going, and then it just goes on to the next one, on to the next one. And I haven't continued to do that, but I had about a 2-3 day period there that in the middle of all this time, because for as tough as June has apparently been, you know what I mean? Right out of the 7-7 gateway yesterday, I think it was very, very, very important for all of our individual self-empowerment, like get ready to blast off in a few months or something, because we're coming on board. Yeah. That's what it feels like to me.
Well, definitely yesterday felt like a huge slipstream. You know, I saw a comment that said floating, and I just celebrated my 51st birthday here on the 6th of July. The day before, you know, I was birthed in the Syrian Gateway, and I said the only thing I want to do for my birthday is I want to float. I want to go in a deprivation tank and just float and go into complete blackness and darkness and just that void space and be rebirthed and chanting and toning and just really calling forth the new skin and letting go of the old skin. You know, a lot of snake energy has been in our field of shedding, and you know, this portal was just felt like, you know what, it was a catalyst to step into the new us. And I feel this energy of that 10,000 hours that we talked about earlier in this interview, that we've been prepared for now. And not, you know, as you know, you've seen some of my posts, a lot of the stuff, I'm just not contending with any of it anymore. I'm not giving it any more energy. You know, we're creating our sovereignty and our freedom right where we are, and moving through untouched, unscathed by any of the trauma that's going on our planet. It's, you know, it's there, but we're choosing something else, and we're being supported in that choice, and surrounded by tribe and surrounded by sovereigns who are choosing that for themselves as well. And
yes,
it feels like August coming into Lionsgate is going to be a potent gateway.
So powerful. Oh my God!
Aren't they all?
I mean,
I'm still trying to get through the past 3.
Yeah, same here. I think that's, you know, I think the other thing that's really sweet is that, you know, just the natural realignments to the travelers that are aligned with each other, and the ability to catalyze each other's memory triggers faster and faster, and not having, you know, I think we just have kept letting go of different relationships that were causing angst, or just, you know, after we got cut from our community, I think it took us probably 2 or 3 months before we even really, there was shock, and then the grief set in, and really examining like the feeling of what that really was, and putting that in its proper place, and then going, wow, we were given a gift to open up to new alignments with, you know, the people that are in the vibration that it feels like we can really create with. And so it's been beautiful to see it from that perspective.
That was a big one.
Oof. It was so.
It's trauma.
It
You
really
know, and to be
was.
honest with you,
We
like,
were
you know, talk about
suffering.
reaching for something, man. I have a blog or a write-up, but it's called, I call it Gummy COD and TikTok. TikTok COD, Call of Duty, which is a video game. It's all about TikTok, which is all the lust. It's just, you know, you can be sitting there streaming and seeing, you know, women just dancing and whatever, you know what I mean? It's just
Boobs and
consuming.
buns.
Boom.
Boobs
It's
and
an ass.
buns.
Just it's what it is. It's just a bunch of that, and then Call of Duty and gummies, cannabis, just like, because I had so much trauma going on in this, in the heart, and going, this is those places where we self-soothe, and you know, it's a season, and like you said, you dive into it for a moment, feel it, and go, okay, I'm good, I'm clean, I'm ready to move. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean, it's a reaction, it's a stimulation, it's you know, pleasure. It's whatever you want to call it. But what I kind of figured out in those 3 days, and I'm still trying to figure it out, is that it didn't matter what the level of physicality of the experience was or not. It was still the same energy. And I was just like, wow. So it's kind of like, what thought am I going to carry forward? And a lot of stuff got put to bed, but I can't really explain it to the degree I experienced it. But like so much of this stuff that at a minimum, I would say started that weekend or maybe even mid-May. And it had to be collective in my mind. Regardless of how personal some of this feels within oneself, it feels very collective. Like the work is being done and we're shoulder to shoulder doing it in our own lane. But it's like, you know, it's like the initial build up to the charge.
Yeah, I love that. It does. I find so much comfort. I think we both do when we look around at, you know, the ones that have chosen to go to the depths and chosen to, like, I realize it's all in or bust. There's no holding back. It's like, you know, we've come this far, and it's not even a choice per se anymore. We already said yes. And so there's this facet that it's kind of just, it's doing what it does in us, but to feel like there's others doing it, and you just think about the camaraderie and the communion that is very comforting when it feels a bit much in moments.
I love that. Jesus is here, says Karen. Right?
Yes. Our
Yes,
beloved
sure.
Jesus.
You know, there's a piece that I
Jesus.
wanted to present in this conversation about the cleaning and the clearing of the body and fasting. And I'm overjoyed and grateful for the divine intelligence that is our body, that knows how to restore, repair, and reconnect here at the 444 gateway window right here at our time.
Nice.
Like, Creator has given us the ability, when we stop consuming toxicity, how the body, its intelligence in everything, in all life, it's just Mother Earth restores, repairs when we stop oppressing, like our body temples, you know. And so, you know, the conversation, whether, not to get into deep about it, but about the jab or the shot or whatever, that, like, people who are putting these talks, there's hope, and to stop pressing fear into that narrative that when the awakening happens, whenever it wakes up into an individual, grace is available in abundance, in that when we get to know better, we choose better, and we become a greater expression of that. Because seeing that in my own body in 10 days, I can feel it. It just restores, and that has nothing to do. I'm just not putting bad foods, sugars, and wheat, and gluten, and all that stuff in my body, and I can feel already. And I just think that I give all credit to our Creator, you know, to creation itself. That you know,
so what did your master fast consist of?
It was so good. It was a lot of lemons.
It's a lemonade
lot of
diet.
Cayenne pepper and a
Lemonade.
Maple syrup. It was organic maple syrup, and that's all you drink. And you do a salt flush that continues to just flush everything out.
So what is it? Lemon?
It's lemons, alkaline water, cayenne pepper, and grade B maple syrup, and that's pretty much it. And that's all you're drinking, you know, 8 to 10 to 12 cups a day. and it has all the minerals, all the vitamins you need. We're very energized. And you have like a, saltwater flush or a laxative tea, at night, and just you're cleaning your system out. And the first couple of days is hard, but
it's brutal.
You're just, really as Heather mentioned, I mean, it's you don't realize how much we celebrate with food. Here we had Father's Day, anniversary, birthdays, and all this stuff, and food was not a part of it. So we had to come up with alternate ways to celebrate ceremonially.
It was. We had to completely reorient. I mean, talk about like the grasping. You don't realize how much just the energy of food, the time it takes to really think about food and prepare food and go buy food and all of these things. It gave us so much more time that it brings up all the things that just that one ritual is, covering up. And so it was so beautiful, though. I think about the third day, there felt like such an immense heart opening and just like surrendering into the process together. Feeling like, and then it would come up again, and it was like, oh, holy crap, and then it was back into it. But I think it took us deeper in our prayer life. It took us deeper in trust and then you just said it beautifully, babe. Like the body always knows how to repair itself. And the second you don't have that thing in it anymore, and then you put that thing back in it, now you know what's causing you suffering, as opposed to always having something there. You don't realize how much suffering it's actually really causing.
And God bless my beloved, the feminine, like guiding me, like, look, babe, we're going to do a cleanse. Let's do this, and total surrender. Yes, yes, yes. And so if you want to look it up, anybody that's listening, Stanley Burroughs has got a great book, The Master Cleanse. I'm sure a lot of our listeners here are very familiar with it, but it's been around for a long time. I've been doing it off and on for probably 30 years, every once in a while. And it's just good to do once or twice a year, just to clean and clear your system out. And you realize, especially with the energies right now, because we're clearing out the system so we can receive more light. And this getting into the body, allowing this light to come in, and that's how we ascend. It's in the body temple that we come in and we allow this energy and this light to come in. We become lighter. And that's, it's not by, Carl Jung has said, I say it all the time, it's not by reaching and imagining figures of light and going into deep meditation and imagining angels all around you. It's get into the body, get into clearing out this system out. Yeah.
I think that's where all these experiences take place personally.
Totally.
Anyway. Yeah. I've been, since I got off the couch, which was probably, I got here on the 8th, and then the eclipse was the 9th. So probably by the 13th or 14th, I was becoming functional. And since then, I've done 2 to 4, mostly closer to 4 glasses of juice a day.
Okay.
And had mostly one meal. I had one pizza binge one weekend, but I could feel the difference, and especially the first 3 days. The first 3 days, I was on my back the whole time. I was purging. I was almost hallucinating.
Wow. What did you do out in Sedona? What was done in Sedona, man? It's a potent vortex, man. That's
yes, it is.
You're a chocolate tree.
Yeah, my favorite place.
Yeah, we were there. I got that footage. I forgot about that part. That was very cool. That was very cool. We put that out there.
Any talks of Soulogy 2, or is that another time this year, or wait for next year?
If and when it happens, you're going to be the first one that I call.
Hey.
We will be there.
If and when it happens, whenever, I don't know anything anymore.
Right on.
I'm finding that less is more. For what I mean is, like, from how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Yes.
It really is more.
Yes.
Because there's something about it, and this is part of that whole body thing too. So like I remember when I went on the street, I didn't eat a lot. And my body at 50 years old was regenerating because like you said, the body has an intelligence and it knows what to do. So I think this is, as I understand it, the same thing that happens with fasting and juicing, is that it basically is fine tuning it. It's getting aligned with something that's more natural to it and not wasting energy in places of blockage, be they physical or not, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the body thing might be the biggest event of this year.
We're present. Yeah.
We still got 6 months to go, and
Oh my gosh.
it looks like anything could happen. Yeah.
Wow.
It feels good. That's all I'll just say. I've been blessed to have incredible, raw foodists and mono eating people around, detox specialists. And I just have been rebellious, to be honest with you. I've been rebellious and stuck in my habits of the food I like because it's comfort.
Hot dogs and hamburgers.
Give me a good Tommy burger with chili and all that. And, I can't do it, man. I'm sweating at night. My body is, 51 years old and I can feel it, and my beloved here is just diving into some amazing raw dishes and foods that are just alive and radiant. And now you're like, I'm teaching my son things I should have been teaching him 10 years ago, but I'm just teaching him, that when we can consume or we can commune, when we just consume blindly, unconsciously, whatever it is, it's just you reap the effects of that in your life. But when you commune in holy communion with your food and in gratitude, and just it's just a game changer. And I am supremely grateful and just going to make better choices in my food.
There you go. And then the universe throws you a curveball and somebody mentions Tommy Burger.
Right?
who I lived like 7 miles from Tommy Burger.
Yeah.
And I saw in a movie somewhere before I went there. This was back in the early 2000s. Somebody said something about In-N-Out Burger, and they said, "No, man, Tommy Burgers is the best burger in Southern California." And I'm right there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wore that place out.
Yeah, no, I know that one.
Gotta have it.
Well,
Gotta have it. Well, the funny thing is, like, when you do have it, your body is so forgiving. It's when we get so normalized and having all that stuff. And
I can't be religious about it. I mean, I gotta have, a good piece of cake once in a while.
It's not good to be religious about anything. Yeah. Religion kills the spirit of everything.
Yeah.
We have a for those of you who are hungry now, we've been talking about Tommy's chili cheese fries.
Yeah.
we have a quick commercial break, about 45 seconds. We'll be right back. Please run to the fridge.
Yeah.
See you in a moment.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, here we go. This is funny.
Hello? Hello? Can you let me in? Hey, I'm here. Open the door. Oh, how's it going? Just wanted to wish you a good day. And remember, stay light. All this will pass. Just your neighbor saying hello. I love you. Bye.
You went digging. I love it.
Dude, that's brilliant that you found that. That's good.
Oh, I have a whole bunch. I have a huge archive.
Well, I think we catch them once in a while when this will be kind of.
I haven't done one in a long time.
So much fun.
But that's such a reminder for us. I mean, that here we are. We just went through the serious gateway, but to not take ourselves so seriously, and we forget to play and have fun. And that's been the message for even more so yesterday. I was talking to a brother and was just presencing. We have these check-ins that I have, and I can get caught into duty and doing stuff out of duty, and that place of carrying the weight of the world and wanting to contribute something to our awakening and doing something, because it weighs on my heart to see a world get hijacked a lot of ways, and just see I've got a son, I want to see him in a world that's not Orwellian, draconian, weird crap, and so, but in that I'm embracing more than I have a lighthearted, joyful celebration and playfulness. One of the things I get to do is work with kids. I do improv with children with a group called the Peace Guardians, and teaching kids on how to stay in that creative mind and that playful mind, and it keeps me light, keeps me playful.
How do you do that?
Well, it's, I think we've talked about this, talking about doing this at some kind of thing, but it's just really, it's improv. So it's just improv games. It's keeping them, there's fun ways, but in it, like just in simple improv games, it may seem simple, but there's profound things going on. Like in a sense, when we're in a circle and we're teaching the kids on how to, it's kind of like telephone, but let's say I go and Heather's in the circle and I go, hi. And she's got to go back to the friend next to her and do the same, hi. But what happens is some kids want to go, I'm going to do it my way. And I'm just going to be, I'm not receiving what was given to me. I'm putting my will into it. I'm not playing in harmony. And so sometimes in those simple things of being able to receive another, to listen to another can be a game changer in just mental practice. And so there's ways to engage these great teaching tools in a playful way. And I think
I like that.
Even
so like I could be Robin, Heather could be Catwoman, and you can be Batman. Holy shift, Batman. Have you seen the Schumann Resonance?
Come take a ride in my Catmobile.
Oh, yeah. It's getting really amazing.
Here's my tail.
Meow. I love Catwoman.
Meow. I do too.
Getting hot in here, Todd. What's happening here? The heat just turned up.
We have just shot through the ceiling of another dimension. We are now gaining more clarity as more and more points of context are in the mix. So it's like it's as if the more frequencies that are added, which can only really happen when there's no resistance, no judgment, no attachment, then there's more clarity at the same time. It just doesn't make any sense. It's almost like it's all slowing down to literally an eternal moment, right?
Yeah.
Like in a dream, like in the best part of the dream, when you can feel the plasma and everything's illuminated and the telepathy is the highest. Everything is just almost like, what do they call it? Like in suspended animation.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love when you said just, you wake up and you just go, I don't know. I feel like that is such a magical place. It really is. I mean, it's such a peaceful place to be in that I don't know, because it's like you're letting go of all the things that you felt like you had to hold up as a standard for yourself or for other people, your framework. It's like everything is just okay.
Yes, that's right. And everything's okay, and I'm not okay.
Right.
That's how I'm not okay. If I was okay, I'd be walking on water, right?
Yeah.
Or I'd be the first one with a cape flying around the world, and everyone's going to get there, right? You know what I mean?
That's a really good point.
But
even that's okay.
I've been really. There's a medicine man that I came across last night and just had me in tears, because he's really talking about the circle, the medicine of one. And he was just giving this really great teaching. I love the slowness of the conversation and the quiet. Like I'm really coming into this place where the medicine path is calling me into the Native American path of this journey. I spent 10 years as a practitioner of religious science and going into the mental field, the law of cause and effect, the divinity of man, and all that good stuff. But now the earth medicine is calling my heart to really deepen. But he was just talking about this idea of just that emptiness, that place we're coming into, this emptiness, this stillness, this really loving all of it, just loving all of it, even my jacked up, crazy, weird stuff. Like just love it into its unity. And I know that that's really where a lot of the space that you're talking, and you commune in that place, that 0 point, that place of holding all of it. Can you hold all of it? We're in this, Heather's doing an incredible program called Sing Your Soul Awake. And this week we're on the Anahata, the heart chakra. And we really came to understand in Sanskrit, Anahata means that sound without two parts touching. It's that place where we're not going into the poles so much. There is a sound that comes in the mandorla, the Vesica Pisces, that mandorla, that almond shape. There's a sacred sound in that space. And that's the Anahata. That's that place of pure heart.
I think what's so beautiful about that, and just make the bridge between the Sanskrit and the English. The English translation of that was unhurt, unbeaten, unstruck. And the polarity that happens when I heard victimization, when we feel like we can be hurt or something has wounded us to a place where now we've divided or we've separated. And that place where the unity is coming back. Carl Jung is so brilliant, and he artistically created pictures for each one of the energy centers. And so with the heart, it's all about literally the tree, which is the reaching up to the heavens. The roots are going down so deep, and allowing that, unwavering part of ourself that just stands and can balance all perspectives, all perception, all experiences in myself. And now we can do it for each other, which is where our heart, the gateway, opens. It's the kingdom within us. When our heart is not fighting for anything, everything just becomes possible. So powerful.
Yeah. And at least by the early reports from this soldier, it's coming, that realization is coming through sitting with everything.
Yeah.
Until it dissipates. And I think that's one of the many, many things to be presented with, like what Morgan and I are doing. But one of the blessings has been, like for instance, I walk around grumpy for the first 10 days and I'm like irritated. And then at some point, what are you going to do? Are you going to just stay this way? Are you going to align with that higher perspective, that multidimensional team, the oversoul, the Todd? That's what the human did. The human aligned with it. Now we walk in faith in that. I'm going to say it's actually getting easier on the human. I'm talking about all of us. I mean, just my own opinion, but it's also got this paradoxical thing running, which is there's some very intense moments. They're very meaningful. They're coming at a rate they've never come at. I'm understanding it, and I really don't have time to talk. I'll see you down the road. Like I'm just trying to watch the road. You know what I mean? Like if the weather's. Yeah.
So it's interesting you say road, Todd, because yesterday in the spheres of the musical angels come through in different ways for me. And because I've been a DJ for 30 years, music is just streaming through. This is just how it comes. And I get the messages. And it became clear as we're communing with a dear sister, Georgina Beemit of the 1111 Awakening Code group on Facebook. If you're not connected to that, definitely get yourself connected to that. There's great content in there. But we're always streaming together in the codes and what's going on. And there's this celebration, like 2 million people were in the UK. Like there's a celebration and it's time for us. And all I heard was Michael Jackson and Diana Ross and The Wiz. It's time to ease on down the road.
Keep going with it.
Time to ease on down the road.
I love that.
And we can, man, because we're finding our path partners. Here we are. We're
man, I'll tell you what. If there's another Soulogy Fest, we're gonna have to have an improv part.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
We're gonna have to have an improv part just like that. That'd be perfect.
Yeah. I call that. I'll hold that vision with you, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ease and grace.
It's such a. There's a heart expansion. That's down to the cellular. I mean, there's a vibration. There's electricity. There's a magnetic thing happening. There's all this stuff happening, and the body is. Quite frankly, the more we get into this, the more I'm realizing how fucking amazing the body is. The body is, from what I'm looking at, the highest form of technology in this experience. I mean, it sure looks like it's headed that way, and that's crazy cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We don't know what's around the corner, but it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I love that you said that, because I think in light of where you know, a lot of people have landed with everything that's going on in the world, and particularly related to, you know, introducing things into this incredible biocomputer that we're in, and being so defaulted. I think it goes back to, we reach for things outside of us to make our body better, or to make our mind better, or to make us feel less pain and have more pleasure and all these things. And I feel like the more you spoke with Michelle Anderson about a lot of this stuff, but the more we're able to really come into that communion with the body, that our mind is able to really be in harmony with our body systems, the less we are apt to rely on things outside of us to fix what we think is broken. And I think that's kind of the jumping off part, that our communion becomes so simple, but it becomes so deep that we recognize that we don't need anything outside that somebody else has thought of to make us better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had this thought this morning as I was trying to land back on the planet. So I always remember this voice since as long as I can remember. And I think everybody probably has the same. And that voice speaks in many, many ways. I guess I would just refer to it as higher self or multidimensional self or whatever, God, whatever. And then there was the ego voice, but there was another voice. And that voice to me felt like Todd the human. Wasn't the voice up here, it was Todd the human. I'm in this vehicle. Wow, look at this. And you know, and you're going through life, childlike wonder, that kind of, they got quieted down. And so I feel like this morning I started to think about this, and I started to realize, at least this is what it appears to be, is that the intuition is built in to the technology of the body. The body is the intuition, right? In some way I don't understand, or this is what it feels like to me. And that's kind of what I woke up to. So I'm with you. I'm listening, but I really appreciate what you said at the top of the show about doing this with no shame, blame, you know, or guilt.
Yeah.
This is part of what I feel like I learned from sitting with energies that I still had resistance to. I had resistance to any appeal at all. How could this be like me if I'm not willing to look at it and really sit with it, no matter how much I think I might have? And this was many, many things. I would say probably 30 or 40.
Wow.
But the body's us.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
So true. There's so much wisdom, and you know, just the sages, you trust your gut. You trust that place in the body that it's like you can tell without being cognitively aware, but how often we just have, you know, we don't trust it, or we push it away, but yeah, powerful. It's
the root of our yeah. So yeah, it ended up with this. You are as goddess is the magician, you are the magic. And I was just like, okay, I don't know what that means, but I feel it, right?
That's
do you guys want to do anything before we head out of here? I mean, do you want to do a blessing or any a song or a freestyle rap or an improv?
You know what? Actually, it's kind of very unexpected. I was not expecting this, but would you be opposed to doing Om Natali and just leave it with
Om Natali?
Harurayam?
That feels right. That was actually a chant in the float. That's a good call.
This is the JC mantra, the Jesus mantra, that is from the lineage of Sri Kaleshwar, which is in Panakonda, India. But our brother Jesus is so near and dear to our heart, as it seems like there's just an awakening or a reuniting with the healed part of that Jesus energy in so many of us. And
wow, okay, we're gonna go for this. All right, buckle up, buttercups. This is a mantra, as Heather mentioned. So just we'll just do it. You know, in any times in mantra, you don't have to do 108, but any series of 9 is always good. You can do it 9 times, 18. You know, any series of 9 is always good. But we're just gonna do it 9 times.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think that'd be good. We don't want to do 108.
No, oh Lord, they're like, what in the world is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just breathe. Take a deep breath in through your nose, really down into your belly, and both feet on the ground, and just really anchor that energy down into the earth, knowing that that's where we're all connected in the Ma. Om Natali Rudayam Naswastanam. 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 Something
That transcends the mind and does something in the heart, and it is to the mother. It is yeah, that's a blessing. That's the best way we can do it, in ways that we can't say it in words, but we just send so much love, and may love continue to expand. You know, I was listening to a song. I did a wedding. I DJ'd a wedding, and the bride and groom were talking about a song from Nat King Cole. I encourage you all to go to listen to Nat King Cole, Nature Boy. It's a great story of this. There was a boy, an enchanting boy, and a story of this, that ultimately, they talked of kings and fools, that ultimately it all comes down to, as it was said in Moulin Rouge, the goal, the big greatest thing to do is to love and be loved in return, and to expand that as we get comfortable with ourself, love all aspects of ourself, love all aspects of the others. And when we expand that radiant, we raise the Schumann resonance together. We bring in so much beyond what we can understand, and that's our intention as warriors here of love itself, with you, brother. And
love you.
Thank you for all that you do.
Bless you and keep you.
Amazing. Love you guys. Thank you very much.
Love you, family.
Y'all take care, and we might do something a little bit later. Just depends.